Welcome back to another episode of the GCN Tech Clinic, where your problems I try to solve. So if you've got one, leave it for me down there in the comments section below. Right, I'm going to crack on. First question this week comes in from Carlos Martins, who says, John, I'm having trouble removing my rear wheel. I recently installed Ultegra R8050 Di2 on my bike, and since then my chain does not go down to the 11-tooth cog, which makes it difficult to remove the rear wheel. Is there a way to set up Di2 so that it drops to the 11-tooth cog? Yep, Carlos, there is. Not a problem at all. What you are going to need to do is go into the eTube software, which links up to your derailleurs, and you're going to need to reprogram the ratios that you've got fitted onto your bike, and also remove the synchro shift. Because what happens then is, if you're in a small ring, for instance, which it sounds like you are, why it won't go down to the 11-tooth, is once you start clicking away, getting into a bigger gear, the front derailleur is told from the rear one, this isn't the optimal chain line. So it moves the chain onto the big ring, won't let you go down to that 11. The other thing you could do is not mess around with any of these ratios whatsoever in the eTube software. And when you want to take out your rear wheel, put the bike into the big ring, and then it should go down to that 11-tooth sprocket. If it's not going down into there, then it makes me think that your gear limit screws, they need adjusting slightly. But something really that actually is sort of prevalent, if you like, in all of these new Di2 rear derailleurs, or actually in all of the shadow style rear derailleurs from Shimano, is that there's an increased tension in that rear mech, which means that getting out wheels isn't quite as easy as it was before. But the easiest thing to do really is just tilt back the rear mech slightly, just give the wheel a little tap, and out it comes. And next up is Gareth Chaplin. Now, Gareth says, John, I've just started to upgrade an old Emel Alpine Sports 5-speed road bike, probably about 30 years old. Probably is, yeah. I want to move away from the awful stem headset mounted shifters and have modern STI ones and upgrade the freewheel too. I was hoping to squeeze in a 10-speed and upgrade to 105 throughout. I've got 127mm of space between the rear dropouts. What would you say is the biggest size freewheel I could fit in, along with matching shifters? Many thanks in advance, Gareth. Right, Gareth, I reckon, right, you'll be able to put 130mm hub in there, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11 speed. The reason being, you got 127 now, 130, that's just 1.5mm extra per side, so a little bit of that, just that action really with the rear end. You should be able to get it in there. But if in doubt, do consult a local frame builder. There will be people right now in the comment section saying, do not advise this, do not advise this. I've done it, I know Doddy does it, so it is absolutely fine. Just make sure though that you have got some cable stops on the down tube of that bike. From memory, I mean, I know exactly what we're talking about, the gear levers that are mounted on the stem. They're a real dangerous looking bit of kit. I can't remember exactly what the cables do, if they have some stops on the down tube, but if not, you can get a little clamp which adjusts and adapts onto it. I think it's something like Problem Solvers or something like that. They make one, but yeah, that sounds like a big old rebuild you got going on there. Next up is Jonas Burgard. Now, Jonas has got a pretty similar question, I guess, to the previous one, but I'm going to answer it because, well, why not? Right, now Jonas has got an old road bike from the early 90s with a complete Shimano 500EX X-Age group set. It's got downtube shifters and a 7-speed Hyperglide cassette. Is it possible to replace the existing group set to a group set with a 9-speed cassette and gear levers on the handlebars? If so, what do I recommend? Right, okay, so your frame with a 7-speed is going to be 126mm spaced at the rear dropouts. For 9, 10, 11, even 8, you need 130mm. So you may well be able to get it to fit in there okay. And just like I said on the previous question, it might need to be cold set by a local frame builder, something like that. So it's just something to consider there. You can also get little adapters. I presume that your gear levers at the moment are brazed on. So they just simply screw onto two little like lugs, if you like, or little mounting brackets that go on that down tube. You then get some replacements to go in there, and that's where your cables get housed into. Now, something to consider here is that 9-speed isn't necessarily that easy to get hold of anymore. Yeah, there is loads of it still kicking around, but it's gradually, I suppose, being phased out. So something to consider there would be a 10-speed or even 11-speed group set. The reason being, there are so many deals to be had out there, believe me, that quite often it'll be even cheaper than what the 9-speed components would be. But, I am just looking forward to this. Oh, don't forget as well, your rear hub, that needs to be able to accommodate those sprockets too. Those 7-speed ones, pretty sure the free hubs on them, they just don't work with anything other than a 7-speed just because of the width of it. Now we've got LA Technica, who says, I bought a fat bike to ride on the beach during my holidays. The chain started rusting after a few weeks, even though I cleaned it after every ride with fresh water, dried it, and GT7 spray that apparently gets rid of moisture as well. After a few months, also my normal bike chain and components started rusting. So I figured that if it's not riding on the beach or in water, but the seaside air that gets the bike during the months when it's not being used. What can I do about it? Basically, both bikes are already kept in a closed garage. I've removed the chain and submerged it in oil, or is there something more I can do when I'm not riding it? Or is it just a matter of buying a new chain every year or so? Well, what you could do, and this is going to open a can of worms, is to wax the chain, provide a nice coating there so it won't get rusty. But in seriousness, what I would do, I would just coat it whenever you can and just wipe it down. Sadly, salt when you live near the sea is so present. I used to live 50 meters from the Atlantic Ocean, and you wouldn't believe the salty mess that I used to have to deal with. It was absolutely disgusting. So yeah, I would just simply try and add on things like WD-40, anything like that, and also give the chain a back pedal as well to try and work it inside a bit. A little bit of surface rust every now and then, that doesn't really matter so much. Just try and keep on top of it. So get yourself a Brillo pad. So that's something which you'd clean a really bad pot or pan where you burnt all your food. So something like that's enough. It's just abrasive enough just to take off that top layer. But yeah, certainly add on any sort of water displacer like WD-40 or the GT7 spray that you mentioned. But dipping it in oil, well, that's just going to add, and basically all the sand and everything is just going to stick to it. It's not ideal, no. Now we've got Carey Lyman Lopez. Hey John, a friend of mine offered me an Ultegra 6700 group set without the brakes for a very good, brackets, steal of a price. However, it has a 6600 crankset. I currently have a Sora 3500 gears with a FSA Gossamer crankset with outboard bottom bracket bearings. I like the FSA cranks better, and I believe it's much newer than the Ultegra one. Should I give the Ultegra cranksets a go, or should I stick to my FSA? If you like it, stick with it. Honestly, that's the only advice I'm going to give. I'm not going to try and talk you around, but if the group set is that much of a bargain, then buy it, get that chain set, sell it on, and then put that money away somewhere safe, so maybe you can spend it on an upgrade in the future. Honesty is the best policy. Now we've got Stephen Van Egmond. Now Stephen says, I have an old 80s Peugeot Ventoux, my pride and joy, and I'm not in the position to buy expensive parts or a new bike. Whilst cleaning it, I discovered I do not actually have a black cassette nor a black chainring. What's the best way to really get them as clean as possible? Thank you. Right, Stephen, get yourself a nail brush, some hot water, probably an old toothbrush as well, and a really good degreaser. So there are some out there, you know, that they promise the world, and they're probably worth spending the extra money on rather than getting something quite weak. Don't use anything like dish soap or car shampoo or anything like that. You really want something that's going to attack it, because it sounds to me like you've got a lot of grime on there. Brake cleaner, disc brake cleaner, or a motorbike brake cleaner, car brake cleaner, anything like that inside of an aerosol can, that works wonders too. And because of the compressed air, when you spray it, it really does blast it out, and it dries pretty quickly too. I know people who use petrol and diesel. They're not the most environmentally friendly products, and also not the best for your health too, but they work absolute wonders. Again, I'm just giving you absolute honest advice here. There is also another product called Geyser, and it's from the Sorfiga brand. So some people out there remember Sorfiga. It's the green slimy stuff you rub on oily hands and it just disappears. They actually make sort of 5 litre, I think it is, big old containers of it. Pour that into a pot and you could brush that on. Those would be my go-to options really for absolutely filthy components. Good luck with it, mate. And the final question this week comes in from Nathan Vishwanathan, who says, hi John, I'm planning to upgrade my old Trek 1000 SL to the new R7105 group set. Which other parts will I also have to upgrade? Whole wheels or just a rear hub? Thanks. Right, just the rear hub on this one, I'm pretty sure. But consider though, before changing out a rear hub, sometimes it could actually be cheaper to buy a complete wheel, because if you just change the hub, you're going to need spokes, labour, and well, also the hub as well. Whereas a rear wheel, you can get some absolute deals out there to be had, even on pairs of wheels. Also consider this, the front derailleur. Quite often when you buy a bundle, you only get a braze-on front derailleur. So unless you've got a braze-on one now, you may need to get a front derailleur clamp that it just clamps onto the seat tube, sorry, and then the braze-on one goes in there. But before you do any of this, make sure you take some pictures so you can submit it to Screw Riding Upgrades by Upgrades. Right, there we go. Another one done and dusted here in the Tech Clinic. Let me know if you've got a problem down there in the comment section below, or even on all forms of social media using the hashtag AskGCNTech. Remember as well, subscribe to the channel and click that little notification bell so you get alerted each and every time we put a video live. And don't forget to like and share it with your friends, why not? And remember as well, the GCN shop at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. We've got 2 more great videos. Click just down here and just down here. And me, well, I'm off to make another one of these Tech Clinics just for you.